what motivated you to reach out and start a program?
I was at a point in life where I had just kind of come out of a on and off relationship for many years, and so being in a city where there is a good ratio of women to men, and also attractive women, I thought, if I'm going to stay here, I might as well be strategic about how I approach women, how I interact with them,
Right.
and help achieve whatever goal I have at the current time.
Right. Now, was there anything specific that you were working on? Because I know when we first started, you had some nervousness on the approach, like to actually approach a girl, start a conversation with her, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me it was, I think being in college, you're naturally surrounded by a lot of attractive women, whether it's in class or whether it's through a group. But, when you start working in the real world, besides, I guess, work or the group you work at work, you have to really create your social circles and,
Right.
Meet new people by approaching them or doing new activities. And I think takes a lot of effort, and it's not organic as it was kind of up through college.
Right, and that's very common, a very common challenge that I see with guys, because in college or in high school, let's say, it's relatively easy because it's a structured setting. The group, the friends, they're all kind of provided for you.
Exactly.
And there's a structure for it. But in the real world, you're kind of on your own. And that's why most people, meet their partners or spouses or girlfriends, boyfriends through work or, through like work-related activities, let's say networking events or business conferences, that kind of thing, because those are like structured social interactions.
Agreed.
But you wanted to actually generate more options for yourself beyond just, girls at work or girls at the office.
Exactly. I wanted to not be a victim of circumstance, but rather, see every potential individual attractive female as an opportunity to talk to them and see where things go. And, I think that's the beauty and the excitement of approaching random people is you get to meet people from all different walks of life, and, you might have an intention, but the conversation or the relationship may go in a different way. But I think that's kind of the excitement of it, instead of just hanging out with the same people you always hang out with, whether it's grabbing beers on Friday night or watching a movie on Saturday night. It's nice to change things up and kind of have a good time in the city.
Exactly. It's like you have a lot more opportunities to do stuff.
And I think the biggest thing is also it doesn't just help out with your dating life, whatever your objective may be, but it spills over to your professional life. It spills over to the way you interact with your family, picking up on social cues. It's just your EQ just is definitely skyrockets.
Yeah. What are like 2 or 3 major things that you've learned during the course of the program?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like you mentioned before, is the approaching. It's just, there's a huge stigma in society that, approaching someone random is just not normal. It's, people think you're weird, or, maybe you're a creep, or whatever they want to think. But I think if you do it in a genuine way, it's people are open to it. People are nicer than you think, especially even in New York, where people get a bad rep for being a douchebag if you're a guy, or as a girl just being a bitch, or whatever it is, right? People are nicer when you greet them with niceness.
Every once in a while I get a guy asking me, I want to talk to women, but I don't want to come across as creepy, or I don't want to come across as a douchebag or that kind of thing. And I always say, if you put out positive energy, you're going to get positive energy.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you put out negative energy, defensive energy, cynical energy, then that's what people will receive, and that's what they will reflect back to you.
Exactly. And I totally agree. I think it's, I think if you don't smile, or if you just have closed body language, or, indifferent body language, that's going to be thrown right back at you. And so it's the little things, and the little smiles, the little whatever that makes it a good experience. And I think this, going kind of back to your original question, second thing I've learned is, rejection is part of the game. I think a lot of guys who haven't approached many women or talked to many women, they're fearful of being rejected. And I think, taking a psychology class, like rejection or loss is one of the biggest things that humans are afraid of.
Right.
Loss aversion. And so getting used to that, and that kind of helps not only in just your dating life, but it helps with all other things. If you don't get a job, it's no big deal. There are plenty of other opportunities out there, and I think it's the same thing with women. I mean, yeah, there's going to be hundreds of women you've probably seen a day, and hey, all you need is one successful conversation that leads to whatever your objective is, rather than all of them. So, almost maybe trying to fail is a good way to kind of get over that barrier and see where things go. And next thing you know, you'll gain more confidence and hopefully be able to steer opportunities your way.
So you think you have become more comfortable with rejections, brush-offs, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think at first it's definitely a bit, you feel, like the conversation's a bit awkward, or someone doesn't really want to talk to you, so you're trying to keep persisting. But at the end of the day, you realize people aren't used to random people approaching them, right? So it kind of catches them off guard, and that's kind of the fun of it now, is that you go and you have a conversation and you have no idea how it's going to go, and hey, if you get rejected, no big deal. I'm sure in New York City there's another attractive woman within 5 steps of you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you have a perspective on it, it really helps, I think. I mean, you're able to keep a perspective and say to yourself, okay, this woman wasn't interested in me for whatever reason, or she wasn't available. The fact that she's dating some guy for the last 6 months, that's not a reflection on me. That's her dating life.
Right.
And the fact that I find her physically attractive, it's completely irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like, you talk to this girl, she's not available. Okay, maybe it's not my ideal desired outcome, but I can't take that as a personal rejection.
Right.
Right.
I think the whole dating game, you can't take it. As I've learned in kind of the real world and with jobs, you can't take anything personally. It's a reflection of your actions, or it's a reflection of something that you have done, but it's not a reflection of who you are. And those are two different separate things that people often blend together, and that's why oftentimes people take feedback or criticism and as a perception of who they are, rather than kind of a snapshot of time.
Exactly. Being able to make that distinction is so key, as you say, and it really does open up so many possibilities when you're able to just say, okay, I am who I am, and then my skills are completely separate from that. But if somebody doesn't like me or something, I'm still a cool person. I'm still confident. I still have good qualities and so on.
Exactly. I mean, the biggest thing that can hurt you as you go out and approach people is, if you're not confident in yourself, you can't be confident in that interaction. Right. So, it's essentially, if you take that criticism personally, you're just basically shooting yourself in the foot, rather than taking that as, hey, this is one more random person you approached and something you learned, and however you can use that to improve your approaches or your dating life is the way it should be.
Are there any specific techniques or specific concepts that helped you to overcome that fear of rejection, or taking the rejection personally?
Yeah, I think at first you definitely do take it. You naturally tend to take it personally, just because you haven't had much experience with it, right? And I think it depends on everyone's life journey. Some people maybe have had a lot of rejections in their life, and some people have been relatively successful and haven't had to deal with that. So, it's a continuum. But I think as you go more and more through the process and through the motions, you get better at accepting it. And I think the best thing you can do is, it's a numbers game at the end of the day. And the more people you can approach with an intention, the higher the likelihood that you can hopefully get what you want.
Right.
And I think, another change in mindset I have is, I think, at least when I came out, or when I approached this whole, getting a dating coach type of thing, it was, I wanted to either find a relationship or I wanted to just get sex. And I think, people don't realize that it's not, you don't have to go from A to Z without any effort or work. It's a process, and there's a lot of things you have to think about to get from A to Z.
Exactly, because you're developing an intuition.
Right.
That's what I always say. A lot of guys want a simple answer, like, input this, and then XYZ plus 1, 2, 3 equals a girlfriend or something.
Right, exactly.
And it's a formula. And the reality is, you're going to get that girlfriend, you're going to get that amazing relationship, or you're going to get those sexual options by improving yourself by becoming a more confident person, by
Exactly.
developing that social intelligence, that empathy, that awareness of others,
Right.
and being able to connect with them on a real level, genuine communication, which you are great at, actually. Once you overcome that initial
approach.
nervousness, or approach that initial hump of approach anxiety, right? Then you've been able to just have great conversations with girls. And we've been doing a couple sessions in the last couple days, and sure enough, you've been getting phone numbers right and left. I mean, like you see the potential, right? And it's a new experience. It's something that you never really did.
I've never really. I mean, I can't even remember the last time for these past few days where I've intentionally, went into a conversation or went into an approach with the idea or the objective of getting a phone number. So it's, again, a lot of it is mindset. If you have your mindset to just, have sex with a girl, then most likely that conversation or that approach is gonna fail, because you need to build a level of, rapport, a level of sexual excitement that happens over some interaction. It doesn't go, like you said before, from A to Z. And there's no formula that works with everyone, which is why you need to practice, which is why you need to, meet new people, see how they interact, use the feedback you get as to basically, fix your body language or to fix the way you approach things. And it's also a great way to, try different, compliments, try different ways to open. I think it's,
you can experiment a lot.
You can experiment a lot, and the best part
is
you don't know anyone, right? So it's not like they're going to post on Facebook on he's a really weird guy. I mean, it's never really going to come back to you ever. So it's kind of like a free trial. It's and it doesn't cost anything.
Exactly. Awesome. Any last words of advice for the guys out there?
Any last words? I would just say, be yourself. I think be genuine. I think people can see right through you if you're not, and you'll have the best of luck just being you and being confident in you. And at the end of the day, like I said, it's about the numbers. It's about strategically picking the right people to go approach and being genuine about your interactions. Because approaching 100 people with no intention or that you really don't care about is not going to get you what you want.
Right. Just going through the motions as opposed to actually structuring it and pursuing something real and really putting yourself out there in a real way.
Yep, exactly.
Nice job, nice work. So take care.
All right, thank you.